my goodness, there is football tonight, people. This is unbelievable. The Hall of Fame game right here. Cowboys, Steelers squaring off in Canton, Ohio. It all goes down. Very special weekend ahead. 8 p.m. Eastern. Keep it right here on NFL Network for all of that. And Inside Training Camp Live, Scott Hansen, Billy McGinnis with the Patriots. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Coach Belichick, Devin McCourty will all be stopping by to hang out with our insiders and reporters across the league. Welcome to Good Morning Football. We're kicking off your day here as we're presented by Rocket Mortgage, live in New York City, August 5th. My name's Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Kyle Brandt, Peter Schrager, all here. This should be a fun show.
Yeah, it is. And I think today is like travel day for a lot of people going to the Hall of Fame festivities. So we're going to set the table for that quite a bit. Yeah. And if you're ready for some Ben DiNucci tonight, we might get some Ben DiNucci tonight.
Baby?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I like that scenic of Tom Benson Stadium. I could see where our stage was set up when we were there. I remember we were there once and they had set up like a little clubhouse for Jim Nance and Tony Romo to do a trial run that wasn't even being broadcast. It worked out really well.
I don't remember anything about that except something with Peter dressing up as Ray Lewis, I believe. And climbing
he did the
up the
dance.
stairs to
Squirrel dance.
Squirrel dance, baby.
It was a sight to see. Unbelievable.
I'm excited about DiNucci. There's a pizza spot over there on
DiNucci's.
DiNucci's.
Yeah.
Oh. Great garlic knots.
Delicious.
All right, it's all going down tonight. Time for the lead block.
Lead block.
Football. Schrager, tonight, you're right. Get excited, everybody. Cowboys and Steelers Hall of Fame game. What a way to kick off the 2021 preseason. Two iconic franchises, legends of the NFL, have worn the black and gold or have had the star on their helmet. Countless Hall of Famers have worn these two jerseys respectively, so it's apropos that it goes down between Dallas and Pittsburgh tonight in Ohio. Let's take it to the present, though. Some future Hall of Famers on both sides of these rosters. Gentlemen, which team do you have more confidence in heading into the 2021 season? Is it the boys or the Steelers?
I'm going with the Steelers. You said future Hall of Famers. I would say T.J. Watt might be on that track. I would say Minkah Fitzpatrick could be on that track. Those are two players on defense, and I know Ben Roethlisberger's on that track. The question is, how can that offense get going? Well, you add Najee Harris. You obviously have all these receivers that are young, and Juju's back. But to me, the offense has to just do its own and let the defense roll. Mike Tomlin is going to be the coach yet again for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin does not coach losing teams. And I'm looking at this guy right here and just knowing what they are hearing all offseason. It's been a lot of Browns talk. It's been a lot of Ravens talk. Do you know who won the division last year? The Pittsburgh Steelers won the division last year. And they did so without Devin Bush and without a running game that you could even identify. I think this team has a giant chip on its shoulder. It starts with the head coach and it bleeds down in. But just real quick, the T.J. Watt contract situation, I think they want to get that done before the start of the season. I think he's worth every penny. And I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is maybe going to be my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, knowing how they're going to be using him. So Steelers defense, to me, is a sure thing. Cowboys, great on offense. There are a lot of great offensive teams. Cowboys offense is such a question mark that I can't say I've got any more higher hopes for them than the Steelers. I'm going with Pittsburgh in this debate. And I think Pittsburgh might be one of those sleeper Super Bowl teams that we're not even talking about, despite the fact they won their division last year.
This is when I'm supposed to tell you that you're crazy, Peter, and disagree with you, but I can't. If you're asking me right now, this preseason game, it's like, all right, Cowboys or Steelers, do I want to go with like this really trusted, venerable entity, or like take a wild ride? You know, if I got to get to like a really important appointment, do I want to go in the pickup truck, the Steelers, or like one of these driverless cars like the Cowboys? Like, it might get me there, but I'd rather go with the pickup truck. And, you know, we can praise the Steelers like Peter did. We just saw 17 seasons without a losing season. That's nuts. But I'm looking at Dallas and just so many question marks. And Mike McCarthy, I think it's fair to ask, like, what's he got? Because we're going to find out a lot about Mike McCarthy this year. Here's what I know about him. In 12 seasons as Green Bay's head coach, 12 seasons, he had a first-ballot Hall of Famer as his quarterback. Favre and Rodgers, those guys have 6 MVPs between them. He got to 1 Super Bowl, and it's not enough. I also know that he got this job with the Cowboys going around talking about how his offenses don't turn the ball over, how efficient they are, how great they are, and it feels a little bit to me like the restaurant manager bragging about the food. It's like, dude, it's the guy in the back cooking the food. You got Ratatouille back there. I don't know if it's about you. I don't know if Mike McCarthy's a great coach. I don't. I know he's got his work cut out for him this year. I know Mike Tomlin literally doesn't have losing seasons. He's never had one. And if you were to ask me, what would shock you more? The Cowboys going 8 or 9 this year, or 8 and 9 this year, or the Steelers? And it's the Steelers in a runaway. I have more confidence in the pickup truck and the chef.
I'm right there with you. I got the Steelers as well. This is a clean sweep. I mean, the Cowboys, we know that they have talent. We know that Dak Prescott is back and he can throw for 5,000 yards. But the last time the Cowboys had the confidence of the world behind them was the mid-90s. Last Super Bowl was 1996. We're talking Independence Day drop, one of the best movies of all time, straight blockbuster, Mission Impossible. Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me, which is fitting because it seems like it's a mission impossible for the Cowboys to put together a roster because we've seen it time and time again, and all eyes will be on Dak Prescott in that offense. On the flip side, what have we seen since that time for the Steelers? A couple of Super Bowls. We've seen these guys put together some good squads, some playmakers. Like, in the time that the Cowboys have been good, which it seems like forever ago, we've seen the Steelers find a level of consistency. That's because Big Ben is still there, and regardless of his age, he had to start fast. He had a quick start last year. He was able to get off to a blazing start, being 11-0, and then things fell apart. But I'm going to credit those guys for that 11-0 start because it doesn't happen often. We also got Najee Harris now. He is a guy that I'm going to do a Burleson on a little bit later, and he is going to be a great addition to this squad, who was last in rushing last year. Now, on the other side of the ball, we forget how good Devin Bush was when he first got to the Steelers. In 2019, this dude led all rookies in tackles and takeaways. So he's coming back from an ACL, and he's joining a defense that is already dominant, like Peter is saying.
Devin Bush is supposed to be their Devin White.
Exactly.
He's that guy, what we saw Devin White. He's supposed to be him.
So now, with all of this said, I get it. The Cowboys are tantalizing. And we, as a show, want to get behind them and say, what's good on paper means it's going to be good on the field. But that hasn't been the case. So I'm going with the Steelers.
What about the 1-5 end? I'm shocked. I'm like really legit surprised that not one
Cowboys?
of you. I'm just very surprised that one of the three of you didn't go with the Cowboys. Schrags, you were great about the defense yesterday, talking about the lack of veterans there. Of course, all the turnover, the fact that Dan Quinn is new. The defense is like the issue with the Cowboys for me. But even just looking at that division, they were one game back. They won one less game than the Washington football team. Like, you look at what the Steelers have to contend with. You yesterday laid out so beautifully, Nate, these numbers about what you saw from Big Ben the first half of the season, those last 5 games, and how he wasn't really throwing it downfield. Where are those concerns when you weigh this? Like, we talk about ranking the NFC East with quarterbacks, and it's going to be by the quarterback. Do you have more faith in Big Ben in 2021 than Dak Prescott with that loaded offense?
No, that's not the question.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
But when it comes to Big Ben and him falling off last year, we forget that he actually came off a procedure in his throwing arm.
So you think he's got it this year?
So I feel like he's going to be stronger, regardless if Kyle thinks he lost weight or not. He's going to be a little bit more efficient with the ball downfield.
Both teams had terrible eyesores at the end of the season. Dallas on defense, so they fired their defensive coordinator and they hired Dan Quinn. They have all this personnel, but that personnel wasn't brought in for a Dan Quinn off defense necessarily, so they have to make adjustments. I just want to see how it looks. Steelers offense just fell apart. They fire their offensive coordinator, they promote Matt Canada. So it's like, I love the fact that both franchises said this wasn't good enough last year. We have these colors and these logos that we have to make changes. The defense just seems so hard for me, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans yesterday were like, slow down. Dan Quinn's a great defensive coordinator, and we have all these rookies. But I'm like, no, you slow down because I need to see it first. And I love Micah Parsons in a T-shirt and jeans. Like, okay, now go out there and be dominant because they might need him to be that good.
He's getting inducted this weekend. I don't know if you know
that.
Micah Parsons is already in. Him and Justin Herbert are going in this weekend. I would just point out really objectively, I mean this. If you were to analyze these two teams, the strongest entity in this comparison is the Steelers defense, I think. Like, Cowboys defense, Cowboys offense even, I think, has questions. I don't know what we're getting from Zeke. Steelers defense is going to knock you around. And I just, like, I've been sitting here while we're talking. If we go to the wide shot, like, I'm looking at these two logos right here. Like, on the left, that is like sexy and 90s, and on the right, that is like old money, conservative strength. Like, trust that. Like, I remember when COVID was going crazy last year, I got really nervous. I like to talk to my dad about the stock market, and I'm like, Dad, should I like move some money, and should I get out of here? Should I run? And my dad was like, Uncle Sam, never doubt Uncle Sam. And that's how I feel about the Steelers. Never doubt the Steelers.
Industrial revolution.
Yeah, like, and he was right, I guess.
How much confidence do you have in Big Ben compared to Dak? I mean, because it revolves around the quarterback. It does. You can talk about the defense all day long. How much faith do you have in him and his arm strength to say that the three of you unanimously sweep against? I'm just devil's advocate. I think it's
I hear you. I've watched Big Ben my entire adult life. He always shows up. He always gets it done. He's allegedly in better shape with a different diet. So I think he's checked in mentally. I haven't seen Dak Prescott throw a pass in a long time, including for the next couple of weeks. I feel good about Ben. I do.
Yeah, and when it comes to like the games where they didn't play well, and I know this seems like a little bit of an out for the Steelers, but it's almost like they beat themselves. Like, you know what I mean? It was
Something
receivers
just
dropping
happened.
balls, Big Ben throwing interceptions, uncharacteristic.